Welcome to the Thunder Hour Podcast, hosted by Trey Hamilton and produced by Leaf Dietrich.
Welcome back to Thunder Hour Podcast. Are you ready, ladies and gentlemen? It is time for episode 11. I don't know if Leaf can even do that. He's going to do the 2 1s, I guess, with that. It's been a fun couple of weeks for us. Leaf's been busy working away. I've been busy working away, but we've had time to sneak in and get a couple of episodes going. So we're going to bring you the best of what we got today. We have a little bit to recap. We're going to keep it right around an actual Thunder Hour podcast today. We got a special guest. We haven't really done a lot of talking about who our special guest is going to be, but we might as well just reveal it right off the hop. Special guest today for a nice, I guess you could say, mid-season episode. We're going to have Thunder General Manager, Mr. Bill Ryan, joining us for the second half of the show. Leaf, as you sit right above the Thunder logo on our screen, I want to ask you, how are you feeling today? It's right beneath you.
Oh.
How are you doing today? Are you ready to do another episode of Thunder Hour, big guy?
Yeah, I'm doing pretty well. Gotta go to work in about 3 hours, but that's about it. Doing pretty well. I can't wait to record.
Yeah, pretty straightforward. Leaf's a man of few words, but
Very
you know
few.
what?
Very few.
He has his hockey insight, as we said, down pat. So, we'll jump right into it. Why don't we? Once again, Trey Hamilton, Leaf Dietrich, live in studio from Woodstock, Ontario. Very proud to be sponsored by, on this side, Domino's Pizza, and over on that side, Western Ontario Super Hockey League as a whole is sponsored by VMF Sportswear. We are also sponsored, not our show specifically, but the Thunder are sponsored by The Mill and the Copper Mug. We'll get a few of those logos up throughout the shows as we go. It's just a work in progress, obviously, as we said. The episodes have come a long way from episode 1 to where we are now, even though the views of episode 1 have not been touched by any of the rest of the episodes. Even though it was our by far worst episode, we didn't know what we were doing. Leaf's just laughing in the background, and I'm just like, the Thunder! And somehow, we're right about to hit 200 views on that episode, so thanks to everybody who watches. Excuse me. A little bit of a cold going around. That's why me and Leaf are social distancing. This table is measured at 5.5 feet, so when Leaf leans back, we're at 6 feet social distancing. So we're just obeying the laws here, as you would say. But anyway, all jokes aside, it's good to be back on the show. Thunder went up to Orangeville. Unfortunately, Leaf was not able to make that game, but I was, and interestingly enough, I was actually the head coach for the game. So this guy right here, those of you who couldn't make the trip, I was in conversation with Bill prior to the game, and basically they asked me if I would want to just fill the spot, you know, not actually be a coach, because I'm not a coach and I'm younger than half the guys in the freaking team, but just to kind of fill the body, you know, be there, you know, have a few chirps for the refs, things like that. And yeah, I did exactly that. I was encouraging to the guys, and the Thunder ended up coming out with the 7-4 win in Orangeville. So your boy gets to retire. I retired. Bill's going to go around, and Mike are going to go around, and Abe's is going to go around and say that I got fired. But in reality, I retired from the Western Ontario Super Hockey League coaching career with a 1-0 record. Leaf. Better than you could say for your OSHL record.
Hey, man. You're right.
I thought he was going to be like, listen here, buddy.
Well, listen here. Didn't you get a game tryout to actually play on the team?
Kinda, yeah. I mean, I went out to practice on Tuesday, the Tuesday before the game last Saturday, so it would be last Tuesday.
What happened?
And yeah, I went out to practice, and I talked about it on last episode a little bit, but yeah, I was really bad. Like, it was bad.
Yeah, what happened? Didn't make the team, did he?
No, I would never make the team.
So you got relegated to head coach.
Hey, you know what? Being head coach of the Thunder is not a bad thing, because those guys are good. We only brought 3 lines up to Orangeville, and we still were able to, outside of the first period, really dominate the game. That's been a common theme, by the way. We actually talked about that in the room. I actually had the chance to actually talk to the guys about it themselves, and I'm like, what is it with you guys? You just start so slow, and they're like, we just have to get a feel for the game. I think Queener said it's just a 20-minute warm-up, so that's basically all it is. But, yeah, Thunder started a little bit slow, but they really ended up exploding. We're going to send it over to our highlight package today. Tillsonburg in Orangeville. We're going to give a courtesy shout-out. Thank you to 519 Sports Online. 519 Sports Online does a great job covering the Western Ontario Super Hockey League and everything else. Like, these guys cover everything. Junior B, Junior A, Junior C. They're all the way sometimes in the Niagara region, and then they're up in Orangeville, and then they're shooting games down at Petrolia. They do a lot. And credit to 519 Sports Online for providing the highlight package today. So these are Tillsonburg Thunder highlights today, presented by 519 Sports Online. Enjoy. We'll be right back.
Let's head to Alder Street Arena in Orangeville for our OSHL Game of the Week. Andrew Tapsell and the Tillsonburg Thunder making the trip to Orangeville to take on Evgeny Lushko and the Orangeville Blitz. The Thunder on a roll, looking to pick up the win and claim sole possession of first place. Jumping into the first period, and it was a quick start for the Blitz. Brandon Wilkinson's point shot finds his way home, and the Blitz take an early lead in this one. The Thunder right back the other way. Kane Geldart centers. Evgeny Lushko gets over in a hurry and kicks away the chance. That was the start of a busy night for Lushko, and the Blitz will look to help him out here on the rush. David Volpe eyes the net and rips a snapshot, and it's a beauty shot from Volpe. That goal makes it 2-0, and the Blitz are in control on home ice. Tillsonburg back the other way, but it's more from Lushko. Braden Roberts' one-time shot is robbed by the glove hand of Evgeny Lushko. Late in the first frame, now the Thunder pressing to break through the wall. It's a creative play from Colton Wiasek. He rips it off the backboards and fights around the defense and finishes it. And Tillsonburg is on the board, now trailing 2-1, heading to the second. In the second now, and it's the Thunder picking up the pace and peppering the net. Jamie Forsland is denied on the doorstep by Evgeny Lushko. Lushko playing well, but the Thunder wouldn't let up. Sheldon Thompson circles the net before setting up Andrew Tapsell for the equalizer. That goal ties the game, but the Thunder were just getting started. Here on the power play, and it's more from Thompson and Tapsell. Andrew Tapsell floats in and finds the rebound and scores it. That's 2 from Tapsell in the second, and Tillsonburg take their first lead in the night. Later in the frame, now the Thunder looking to keep the tempo up. Andrew Tapsell floats in and spots up Braden Roberts, and Roberts roofs it. What a shot from Braden Roberts. He makes it 4-2 as the Thunder take over in this one. Into the third now, and right off the draw, it's more from Tillsonburg. It's a 6-second goal from the Thunder. Andrew Whalen slams it home, and the Thunder extend their lead to 3. The Blitz would respond, however, less than 20 seconds later, it's Joshua Miller breaking into the zone and ripping it off the wall. David Volpe gets the goal, and the Blitz pull back within 2. 5-3 Tillsonburg now, and here they are on a 5-on-3 looking to seal it. Chris Knotts walks into the slot and buries it, and the Thunder restore their cushion. Later in the frame now, and the Blitz would get one back. Daniel Polsina sneaks an in short side, and the Blitz look to rally. But with a quick answer from Sheldon Thompson, the Thunder would ride this one out. So it's the Tillsonburg Thunder peppering the net in Orangeville with 59 shots as they take it over the Blitz. This one ending with a final score of 7-4 on Saturday night.
Those were Tillsonburg Thunder highlights brought to you by today, 519 Sports Online, as previously mentioned. Thanks again. Huge shout out to you guys. You guys do a great job covering so much hockey, football, everything locally. As Leaf does the forbidden desk smack, but this time with a water bottle. 519 Sports Online traveled up and covered the game for us. And it was a pretty uneventful game in the first period for Thunder fans. By the way, there were quite a few of you that made the trip up to Orangeville, so thank you very much to everybody who made the road trip. It's not close by any means. A couple hours from here. I know myself, my dad, my girlfriend. I saw some of Razor's family up there. I saw, obviously, just like I said, a good core group of fans that were able to make the trip. And even the guys in Orangeville were talking to our players in the warm-up saying, like, wow, like your people travel, and yes, we do. But yeah, it was a good game. Overall, the flow was a little bit slow. It was a slower paced game. Thunder weren't a complete roster, and the Blitz, they're just not a great team this year. I mean, there's no other way to cut it. Heading into the game, they were 1-12, and following the loss, they fell to 1-13, and the Thunder climbed from 9-2 to 10-2. And with the Petrolia loss last week in Alveston, in front of over 1,000 fans, by the way. That was so cool to see.
Yeah.
With the Petrolia loss, the Stratford loss previously to Woodstock in overtime, the Thunder are in sole possession of first place now. Stratford, Tilbury, Petrolia, they're all in that pack hunting. So if the Thunder can just keep their foot on the gas, it should be smooth sailing. But let's just finish up chatting about the game in Orangeville, Leaf. First period, less than a minute into my OSHL coaching career, 46 seconds in, Brandon Wilkinson got his first of the season for Orangeville, assisted from Nathan Rowe. So, your boy on the bench gets a beautiful look at the first goal of the game, and it was, as I said, 46 seconds in. Bang, just like that, 1-0 for Orangeville. And then at the 13-12 mark, David Volpe, one of their better players, he was a veteran of University of Guelph alum. He got his second of the year, assisted from Miller and Martel. So we're down 2-0, and as a coach, that game, I was just trying to reiterate the message to the guys, just we're in it. And the thing is they were all over them. Like, Evgeny Luchko played a really good first period, but at the 2:55 mark, we were able to crack the scoreboard. Colton Wyzak picks up his second of the season, assisted from Van Biesen and Forsland, and it was a thing of beauty. Comes down the left wing. He was 1-on-2. He had no play. So Colton takes the puck, slaps it off the end boards. Luchko doesn't know what's going on because you don't see stuff like that. Wyzak shoots it off the end boards, gets around his man, and then slap shot top shelf. Beautiful goal, assisted from Van Biesen and Forsland. For Van Biesen, that's his first OSHL point. For Wyzak, that's his second goal of the season. And for Jamie Forsland, he picks up another helper. Forsland had a good game. He was just battling being in the zone, I could tell all game. From the perspective of sitting on the bench, he was just battling, staying engaged, so he got more physical. That was a game that I know you weren't able to attend, Leaf, but when the full game replay comes out, or you can even watch it even on Sportfeed, but when Rogers TV releases the full game replay, you'll notice Forsland played a very physical game, and he got involved in the score sheet too, so that was a good thing. But it's going to be a little harder getting your opinions on the game because you weren't there this game, but I'll do my best to kind of shoot it back and forth. Second period, 16-10, so just about 4 minutes into the period, Andrew Tapsell picked up his second of the season, assisted from Christo and Abraham. It was a nice play. Taps just cut slot, and Christo was able to find him, and bang, we're tied up. So 4 minutes into the second, back to a 0-0 score. And then 9:59, so just 5 minutes later, 6 minutes later, Taps got another from Christo and Thompson, and a shout out to Curtis Christo. This goal, the assist, it hit him like right in the midsection or a little bit below the belt. It was a slap shot from Thompson off the wall, or it might actually been the first goal that Abraham shot it. Yeah, it was. It was the first Tapsell goal. Abraham shot it from the wall. It hit Christo, like I said, just below the belt. Not a great area to get hit. Puck bounced right to Taps, and he put it in. And then the power play goal, Tapsell, his third of the year, assisted from Christo and Thompson. And then Braden Roberts at the 4:43 mark, so just under 5 minutes to go in the second. He would extend the Thunder lead with his third of the year, assisted from Taps and Abraham. So you'll notice a lot of the same names recurring here. It was a great game from that group of guys. Roberts, he cut in on the right wing. He had no room, dude. Like, Luchko was in pretty good position, and it was just a perfect shot. Put it right over the shoulder. Like I said, you see that netting in between the crossbar and the back bar just go up. And as a coach, sitting where I was on the bench, standing, getting a view, it was such a great view of the game, man. And Roberts got his third of the year. Tapsell and Abraham on the assist. That concluded the second period. We jumped to the third period, and 6 seconds into the period, literally dropped the puck. Thunder come in, and McQueen passes left wing to Thompson, passes in the middle to Whalen. Whalen shoots 5-hole, and it was a quick shot. No reaction from Luchko. So 6 seconds in, Whalen gets his seventh of the season, assisted from Sheldon Thompson and Jamie McQueen. But unfortunately for the Thunder, that ecstatic 6 seconds in goal would quickly be answered by the blitz. Less than 20 seconds later, David Volpe gets his third and his second of the game, third on the season, assisted from Miller and Martel at 19:36. So 2 goals within the first minute of the period. It made a lot of the fans that were in attendance, and even myself and the players, it gives you a weird feel for the game because all of a sudden, boom, boom, it's 2 goal swing just like that, right? So But Tilsonburg would answer Chris Knotts on the power play at 14:32. Assisted from McQueen and Whalen. Knotts was buzzing. He was all over the ice that game. I was glad to see him actually be able to pick up that goal. Notter, we had him on a couple weeks ago. He's a good guy. Really, like I said, he's improved his game so much, and he got his third of the season from McQueen and Whalen on the power play at 14:32. Orangeville would make it interesting. They would make it 6-4. At the 5:34 mark, a guy named Placina would get his first of the season, assisted from Rotaire and Rowe. So it would make it 6-4. It's a 2-goal game. You know, you're like, they might make a comeback. You never know, right? But Sheldon Thompson would say absolutely not. As just 15 seconds later, he would get his 7th of the season, assisted from Whalen and Knotts. Kind of a broken play from Orangeville. Thompson charged the net. Knotts over to Whalen. Whalen down low to Thompson. He had it on his backhand. Luchko kind of lunged at the puck, and Whalen just Thompson just dragged it and went top shelf backhand with it. He was standing a foot from Luchko. No defenseman wanted to get Thompson out of the way. And that would conclude scoring in this one. The Thunder would win the contest with a final score. Tilsonburg 7, Orangeville 4. Thunder would improve to 10-2. As I said, taking sole possession of first place. Orangeville falls to 1-13. So a rough season for the Blitz, Leaf. I know you weren't there, but just seeing the highlights in the score sheet, what were your takeaways from the game?
I think the Thunder battled well with only having 3 lines. Mm-hmm. And what, did we have 6 defensemen? Or
we did carry 6, yeah.
We carried 6? All right. And obviously the Razor net, so as some would say, our third stringer in net. No offense to Razor at all.
No, it's a 1A, 1B, 1C situation, but yeah.
Yeah. So, seems like a pretty good game.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, 3 lines, me on the bench, Razor in net. You never know what's going to happen all the way up in Orangeville, 2 hours away. But we got the job done, man. Why don't you give us the winning goaltender stat, Leaf? It's listed right there.
Oh, the winning goalie was Jesse Raymond with 4 goals on 20 shots. And then, Luchko, was it?
Yep.
7 goals on 59 shots.
So as you can tell by the shot numbers, the Thunder dominated that game, like start to finish.
They must have tripled their shots.
Yep. They were 1 shot away from tripling the Blitz's shots.
Did you just tell them to shoot the puck?
Basically, that was my whole strategy as a coach. I was like, okay, let's get the passes off quick, and let's shoot the puck on net. And none of them listened to me when I said all that stuff, but they obviously had the same philosophy I had. Because they were putting pressure on Luchko. They just kept putting pucks on him. And Luchko did play well. I mean, only giving up 7 on 59 shots. We've scored, I believe, 9 and 7 goals against Luchko. But both games we've gotten near 60 shots. So he's a solid goaltender, but I mean, when you got no help, there's nothing you can do, man. Like, when you're facing 60 shots, it's difficult. Like, what are you supposed to do, right? Like, you're a goalie, you know what it's like. I mean,
that's hard.
Being in there against 60 shots with no defensive help, it's not easy. Yeah,
brutal.
Yeah, the Blitz are just not an overly structured team. Not a lot of very skilled guys. We were able to see it firsthand, and Thunder pulled away. So congrats to the boys. Congrats to myself. I'm going to give myself the pat on the back today. As I said in the teaser, I officially got the win as the head coach. I was on the score sheet, on the game sheet, the league records. I was the head coach of the Thunder for 1 game, and I got the win. So 1-0-0 is my record as the Tilsonburg Thunder head coach. I officially, on the podcast today, retire, and we'll chat with Bill Ryan about a potential replacement for me. It's going to be hard to find, but I'm sure he's got an ace up his sleeve, as he always does. But we'll get to that afterwards. That was just kind of my final thoughts on the game. I think the Thunder played well, all things considered. There were areas of improvement, but with only 3 lines, and even some of the young studs weren't there, like the Bakers of Forsyths, and Mitch Fitzmaurice is definitely going to be missing some significant time. We do know that, which is unfortunate. A little bit of an injury bug, but you know what? We have to have those young guys step it up. We said it on our podcast last week. It was kind of a call out to the young guys. We want you guys to step it up, and Van Biezen and Brzezinski and Wyzak that were there, the young guys that were at that game, they stepped it up. So congrats to them. And that's kind of takes care of that first portion of this first half of the show. We'll close out the first half of the show Talking about our next contest, Leaf, who do the Thunder play this Saturday?
They play the Delhi Flames in Delhi for the third time, Trey. The third time.
Yep.
Not the first time.
This is the third time we play Delhi, yes.
The third time.
Second time we played them in Delhi, but third time we've played them all year, yes. What are the records so far?
They are 2-0 against the Delhi Flames.
Mm-hmm. Thunder are 10-2 on the season. Flames come into the game 4-6. So, and just a reminder, the 2 of those 6 losses are at the hands of the Thunder. So they're obviously going to be, extra motivated. We said that last game, and it was a win for the Thunder. But the Flames aren't a bad team this year, dude. They're not. So you got the previous matchups there. Why don't you recap for us, Leaf, how the last 2 games went for the Thunder and the Flames?
So November 17th versus Delhi in the Thunderdome. The Thunder win 5-4 in overtime. I'm pretty sure that was the double overtime game.
That was the single overtime. McGuffin scored.
McGuffin.
On the power play.
Oh, right. I was on the camera.
Yeah. Yeah, you were the camera guy. You forgot. Yeah.
Okay, it was...
Sideways camera guy.
And then, in Delhi, November 25th, the Thunder win 8-5.
That was the debut of something special, by the way.
Yeah. That's my boat horn. Goal horn. Thingamajiggy bobber thing.
Yeah. Leaf is responsible for blowing the goal horn on the road. Unfortunately, he wasn't there. Well, and at the home games, but whatever. It's more fun on the road because you piss people off. But
exactly.
we have let's just say, so we brought it to Orangeville. Leaf wasn't there, but we were able to still find people to use the goal horn. And what's ironic is in Orangeville, their literal home goal horn for the Blitz is a guy with a boat horn on a drill.
Nice.
So we had both guys with the drills comparing them to one another. Oh yeah, this is mine. Oh yeah, it's got 3 horns. Oh yeah, this is mine. It's got 2. I got a DeWalt. He's got a Mastercraft. Like it was hilarious to see. It was. I didn't obviously get the greatest view because I was on the bench, but it was funny to see. But yes, our last game in Delhi, November 25th, was an 8-5 win over the Flames, giving the Thunder the 2-0-0 record this year against the Flames, and we were perfect against them last year. So the Thunder still, and I don't want to jinx anything here. I got wood here. Sorry to the listeners. Knock on wood. The Thunder have never lost to the Delhi Flames in the 2 teams' existence or coexistence within the Washoe. So this is a big game. This is a big game coming up. Bill's going to talk about it later, as I just spoiled that we already did the interview with Bill. But Bill mentions it that these points right now in those dog days of end of December into January, these are points that are make or break in terms of standings. So for the Thunder, this is not a must win. I can't say that. We're in first place, and we have a game separating us now, a couple games separating us from Petrolia and Stratford. But this is a must win for Delhi for sure, because you want to. So the way that the Washoe playoffs work this year, for any fans who are wondering, we have 1 through 11. Obviously, there's 11 teams in the league. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Clinch a playoff spot guaranteed. Just like the National Basketball Association, the NBA, this year the Washoe is instituting a play-in tournament. So, single elimination, 8 versus 11, 9 versus 10. Winner moves on, and then the winner of those 2 games plays each other for the 8th seed. So you could have Orangeville theoretically finish 1-23, and let's say the 8th seed is Woodstock, and Orangeville could field a decent enough team, go into Woodstock and win, and then go into wherever the next competition is, the next game, maybe in Delhi, and win that game and make the playoffs at 1-23. So it's an interesting situation, but for Delhi, what I'm saying is you want to be in that top 7. Yeah. You're guaranteed a playoff spot. Nothing can go wrong. So if you're one of those bottom 4 teams, you're going to have to play an extra 2 regular season games that are elimination games. So if you lose that first game, obviously you're done. So, but either way, if you're one of those bottom 4 teams, you are not guaranteed anything. If you're the 8th seed, even if you have 6 more wins than the 11th seed, anybody can win on any given day in this league. So if you're Delhi, this is a must-win game. They've made improvements. They brought in a couple good players this year. They just signed a new goaltender who we're going to talk about in a sec. This is a must-win for Delhi. So Tilsonburg has to be on alert.
I agree.
Yeah. So, players to watch for the Thunder, Leaf. Why don't you go ahead and name them off?
Austin Forsythe.
Yep.
for the Thunder, Jack Van Bogle, and goaltender question mark. I don't know who that is.
Yeah, we're not too sure yet. We have not got the announcement on who will be starting, but we do know either way, goaltending for the Thunder is going to be a make or break in this game because we know goaltending for the Flames is going to be solid with their addition of their new goaltender. So we're figuring it's either Matt Sagrot or Andre Waugh getting the start. It has not been announced or determined yet, but I think either way, I'm confident with either one of those guys in net. I'd like to see Andre get a start. I haven't seen him start in a little while. I think the last time he started was the 5-4 overtime win on November 17th. So we're getting on. It'll be a month as of Sunday that Andre has played a game. So we want to get him in there. We want to get him a couple more starts. That's why I put the goaltender question mark. Not sure. So, players to watch for Delhi. I got this covered, Leaf.
Yes.
Chris Donnelly, as always, he's the captain. He likes to play the Thunder. He's good friends with Matt Sagrot, so they have a little history, those two. They play on the same beer league team. Shout out to the Jaybirds in Hamilton. Go follow them on Instagram to get more in-depth analysis on Matt Sagrot and former Thunder players like Zach McQuaid that play in beer league together. So I'd hate to be playing that beer league team. But yeah, Chris Donnelly, player to watch, leading scorer for the Delhi Flames. He's kind of taken the team on his back this year, and he's done a great job being their leader. And also Josh LaBelle. We have him listed as a player to watch because he doesn't get off the freaking ice. If it's anything like the last game in Delhi, Josh LaBelle had registered like 53 minutes of ice time out of 60 minutes of hockey. Ridiculous numbers. But he's a good hockey player. He's a really good defenseman. He's a highly skilled guy, so player to watch for sure. And then we have Ben Blacker, goaltender, just signed by the Flames. He was signed out of, he played for the Western Michigan Broncos. Go Broncos. And that might sound familiar to some of you Thunder fans because that's where our captain, Mr. Mike Rebry, is a alumni of Western Michigan playing for the Broncos. And this was actually his goaltender. So Blacker and Rebry know each other. They have a history. Rebs probably knows all the weaknesses. I guess we'll have to wait and see. But Rebry, we have confirmed Mike Rebry will be in the lineup. Looking forward to seeing that. And it'll be a special game for him and for Blacker as well. These two guys know each other. And just to show the growth of this league, Leaf, like here we are. We have elite level players, elite level goaltenders. We got to see DeBrouwer in Tilsonburg a couple weeks ago. We heard about Mateo Lalama in Alvinston, and Alvinston's one of the better teams in the league this year. They've improved significantly. We know, obviously, now Blacker and Delhi. Like, this league is growing, expanding, and the talent is getting impressive. I'm excited to see Blacker in net.
I am too. I can't wait. It's just another goalie that has a good resume, and I like to judge a goalie on like their movement and how calm they are and poised, and I just want to see what he's about.
Mm-hmm. I'm definitely looking forward to it, Leaf. I think he's going to be a difference maker for the Flames, and they made the right move going out and signing him, knowing that they're kind of on the brink of the playoffs right now. They want to get into that 7 seed, but teams like Alvinston and Woodstock are playing a lot better than them right now. So if they can bounce back and get a win against the Thunder right before the Christmas holidays, this would be a big game for them. It's also, by the way, the Delhi Teddy Bear Toss. I wanted to say that as well. So if you're a local fan, if you're a Tilsonburger, making that drive down Highway 3, 20 minutes, or as Mike Hawley says, 11 minutes. I don't know how he does that. But anyway, sounds like he drives like my friend Leaf here. If you're going to make the drive, just remember to be respectful. Let the Flames do their thing, celebrate, and it's obviously for a good cause. So we're going to bring the goal horn. We're going to be on our feet. We're going to be fired up, but just don't engage with Delhi fans and just let them do their thing, right? Like, if they want to celebrate this game, it's to a great cause, so we're going to let them do their thing.
So if we bring the goal horn and Delhi scores, for the Teddy Bear Toss only, are we allowed to use the goal horn?
I don't mind. That's something we could talk about with the guys or with amongst each other. I mean, I don't mind. Give Delhi a better goal horn than they have because it's so freaking quiet, and I've said it, I think 2 or 3 times on this show. We designed goal horns. We did the new one for the Thunder. The boys really like it. I designed a goal horn for Delhi, and it's actually pretty catchy. It's loud. It's a lot louder than the one you got now. And I've never received an email or a contact from anybody from Delhi saying they're interested. So just letting you know, I do have the goal horn, but every day that you make me wait to give it to you, I'm going to up the price on it. So right now we're sitting at about $40 to buy it off me. All kidding aside, I don't care. I don't want any money. Mr. Mike Hawley can pay me money for doing this podcast, this very special podcast. But no, it's going to be Teddy Bear Toss night in Delhi. And we've both said it. Teddy Bear Tosses are some of the funnest games to go to. Get to see all the kids leaning over the railing and the bears are flying. If you're in the front row, you're getting hit in the back of the head with teddy bears, and then you got to pick them up and throw them over the glass. It's a lot of fun. So yeah, make the trip down Highway 3, guys and girls, and come down and watch the Thunder and the Flames. It's going to be a great game. It always is between these two teams. I'm looking forward to it. Leaf, I'm sure if you can make it, I'm sure you're going to be talking and being pretty excited to do
Highway
it.
3, I'll be doing Highway 59.
59-2-3, yeah, you're right.
59-2, yeah.
Yeah, well, either way, you're going to hit Highway 3. But yeah, Leaf driving from Woodstock down. And then a reminder as well to Thunder fans, we have minor hockey night coming up in Tillsonburg on December 29th. That's going December 23rd. So next Saturday, and we're going to be hosting the Woodstock Lakers. And we are very excited because A, we don't like Woodstock, and B, it's going to be a special event night filled to the brim with cool things going on. We got minor hockey scrimmages. We got players. So if you're a kid and you have a Bauer CCM jacket or a jersey of your team, whether you play for the Squawk Storm or you play for the Tillsonburg Tornadoes, or even if you're a part of one of these other organizations in the area, it doesn't matter if you're from Delhi and you play for the Rockets, or if you're from Woodstock and you play for the the youth vets, come down to Tillsonburg, wear your memorabilia of your team, and you will receive free admission. So it's very similar to student night, but it'll be focused on minor hockey. We also have Santa Claus, the Grinch, and Woody from Woodstock. Woodstock's mascot is going to be making a debut in Tillsonburg. We might have a wrestling, something going on with the two mascots, because I heard Bolt and Woody aren't the biggest of fans of each other, and Woodstock and Tillsonburg certainly are not big fans of one another organizationally as well. So it's going to be a very exciting game on the 23rd, but let's focus on the 16th. Thunder, let's go out, get 2 points, boys. If you're listening, do everything you guys can within your power to go out and show Delhi that they are the little brother of Highway 3. We're the big brother of Highway 3, and the big brother always beats up on the little brother. And eventually, little brother's going to get bigger, and Delhi is already getting bigger. But as of right now, we're still bigger, we're badder, we have the better team. Let's go out there and let's take care of business, and let's dominate this game. Leaf, what are your final thoughts before we close out the pod?
I agree. What about predictions, sir? You want to do predictions?
Let's do it. Let's make our predictions, and then we will send it off to the second half of the show, in which we will be interviewing special guest, Thunder General Manager Mr. Bill Ryan. Leaf, why don't you go first? What's your prediction for this Saturday?
I'm going 18-3 Tillsonburg Thunder. All like last year. No, I'm just kidding. 6-2 Thunder.
6-2. Leafs got the Thunder coming out with the win. I'm going 5-3 for the Thunder. I don't know who's starting in goal for either team, but I think it's going to be a little bit lower scoring than even last game. Last game we were able to put up 8, and they were able to get 5 on us. But I think it'll be a little bit lower scoring. And then we go from this game, we play Woodstock, and then a week and a half break for Christmas and New Year's for the Thunder. And then they will return back in Tillsonburg first week of January against the Delhi Flames. So that will close out our season series against Delhi. Hopefully we can go 4-0. I'm not too sure, but I like the structuring of the schedule. I like lumping a lot of those games close together. And we'll talk about it at the end of December when we do our year-end episode. We'll have blooper reels. We'll have all this fun stuff going on. And he's scared because we have a few clips of some Leaf bloopers.
Nope.
He's terrified.
Uh-oh.
But all jokes aside,
Hey
we
guys,
will...
welcome back to Thunder Hour.
Yeah, Leaf tried to do a solo episode. Things didn't go over very well. But anyway, that's going to be all featured on our year-end episode. We hope we can gain some traction on that. But yeah, we'll talk about it in the month's end and year-end breakdown. The Thunder have a busy month in January, and it's tough because a lot of guys are away, a lot of guys are on vacation, a lot of guys are with family for the new year, and some guys are starting new jobs and commitments in other areas. So January last year is where the Thunder fell apart after an 11-1 start. They finished the season 17-7, and I believe that included 5 straight losses in the month of January. So obviously, this is, hopefully we want to have a whole different result this year. We'll have to wait and see. But yeah, we'll be in touch more about that later on. But for now, let's just focus And remember, big game tomorrow night in Delhi, Thunder and Flames. So that's going to conclude matters here for the first half of Thunder Hour podcast. Thanks for joining us. We're going to keep it at right about an hour this week. We don't want to go on for an hour and a half. We will be joined in the second half of the episode by a very special guest star, as mentioned, Mr. Bill Ryan. Thanks again, Leaf, for doing this first half of Thunder Hour. And thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for watching and staying subscribed and being there with us every step of the way along this journey. Again, your 10-2 Thunder travel to Delhi tomorrow, which is Saturday, December 16th, 8 o'clock puck drop. It is Teddy Bear Toss in Delhi. We will see you there tomorrow, Tillsonburg, and we hope you enjoy the second half of the show. Leaf, are you ready?
I am ready.
Let's go, Thunder! Woo! All right, welcome back to Thunder Hour. This is the second half of episode 11. It's been an incredible ride. We've had a lot of special guests, and today we're actually going to have a repeat special guest, a gentleman who joined us on our second episode we've ever shot. It was almost 3 months ago. We were talking about it earlier when we first got in the studio. We're so honored to have back on the show for his second episode, Thunder General Manager and Western Ontario Super Hockey League Executive. Ladies and gents, welcome to the show, Mr. Bill Ryan.
Thank you, guys. Thanks for having me again.
It's good to have you back, Bill. There's always lots of talking points, always lots to chat about when we're able to sit down with the general manager of the team, because you, as you said, you helped put this whole thing together, and so you get a perspective that not a lot of the people and not even guys like us get to see. So we'll just jump right into it. As I said, it's been a couple months since we last chatted on this show about the Thunder. We're officially now at the halfway point. We've played 12 games, so we're halfway through 24. Can you tell us what are some things that you've liked and other things you've disliked about this year's team thus far?
I'm pretty happy overall in general with everything that's happened to this point. You got the same work you got with any team at this level, where guys work and guys come in and out of the lineup. You can't have your lineup the same 2 weeks in a row, it seems, anymore. But that's why we've got a deep lineup and lots of guys. What I'm unhappy about, well, I wanted a perfect record. 9-2 wasn't a perfect record, so
we figured.
But end of the day, I'm pretty satisfied with everything that's going on. We've got a few injuries now here at the midpoint, and so that's why the bigger, deep roster is going to come into play, and some guys are going to get some more ice time that don't typically do it. But plus you got Christmas holidays and guys going away and that kind of stuff, and Christmas commitments, which I have one on Saturday, so I'm going to be lucky to get to the game on time. But that's just part of what this time of year is. So, but overall, no, I'm happy with everything from a league standpoint, from a team standpoint. I think everything's doing well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. Things seem to be moving in a good direction for the boys. I know last year we were actually 11-1 at the halfway point. So obviously,
yeah, don't remind me.
Yeah, things tend to tail off sometimes. As you said, though, guys have commitments. And last year, if I'm correct, the league, our team specifically had like a 3 to 4 week break at the Christmas area, and
then we got into a bit of an injury bug and an availability bug, and next thing you know, we were 17-7 for the year or whatever it was.
Yeah, so it was a tough little.
Went from first place to fourth place really quick.
Yeah, I know. We remember that was because we started watching right about the halfway point last year, and then. It seemed like we were the bad luck at first, and obviously the drum and the antics and everything changed a little bit. But yeah, it was a good start last year. But it seems
we can blame you guys. Well, that's good to know.
Exactly, we're the scapegoats. That's how it is. I'm a 1-0 record as a head coach of the Tillsonburg Thunder, and I'm fired. So obviously I can take the blame for everything right there. So
I've been doing this a long time with the Thunder, and actually, when it comes to this year's roster, I'm pretty happy with what we have. Mm-hmm. It rivals anything we had in the 14-15 season, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. I'd love to see those two teams play each other, but
you'd have to
hard to pull that off.
You'd have to somehow split Finn down the middle or something. Have Finn play one half at the one
that's
end.
Right.
Somehow he'd have to get into the younger legs too to play for the 14-15 team. So I don't know how he'd pull that one off.
You don't win on paper, and you only win on the ice.
That's 100% it. You just never know in this league. So Leaf, why don't you go ahead and shoot?
Thanks for joining us, Bill. You brought in a good crop of young players this offseason. What have you liked about them this far?
Well, they definitely bring a new energy to the game, and young kids coming out of junior B, junior C, junior A. They certainly have a much higher individual skill set. Mm-hmm. They have to learn, at this level, they have to learn the team game a little more, but it's coming. And also it's tough when you're trying to take somebody else's ice time. You gotta work for it, right? Which, competition is good for everybody on the lineup, right? But for the most part, I think the kids coming in now, have a little more of the individual, the puck handling skills, the shooting skills, the skating ability, but sometimes the hockey sense or the hockey IQ is still developing. So, and at this level, the game is all about puck movement as opposed to, the individual skills are important, but puck moving and the hockey smarts are the key at this level. So, and I think everybody that we brought in, the young guys that come in, certainly can play anywhere in the lineup, which is good.
Yeah, that's one thing we've noticed too. You got a couple young guys that can play O and D. You got a couple young guys who are like we were at practice the other day. He wasn't, but I was, and just watching like kids like Austin Forsyth, the release and just how quick he can shoot that puck, and kids like Baker can deke their way. I think you said it, he can deke his way in a phone booth. Like these young guys seem to be skilled, but as you said, it's a little bit of a process to adapt to the senior game because it's a whole different game, right?
That's right. The whole idea of bringing these young guys is, let's be honest, we've got a few veterans that may not be here next year, so you hope these young guys can take the reins and move up in the lineup and, help the team moving forward, as well as this year, of course, when they're needed. And obviously, everybody wants to be in the lineup every game, but when you have a deep lineup, this is what the young guys thrive for, is pushing their way in, right?
Yep, and it's a
couple
good
of guys that keep out of the lineup moving forward for sure.
Yeah, like I said, it's a good problem to have, 100%, because you'd rather have that depth than be lacking, have a first two lines, and then be lacking in that bottom half, right?
Absolutely. It's important to have, in my opinion, at this level, 5 lines, not just 3. So
just because commitment, like you said, guys have jobs, guys are going away, guys are on holiday.
Well, we've got a couple of key injuries now too. So now you got guys have got to step into certain spots in the top 9, and it's that's why you need those bodies.
For sure, and I'm confident those young guys will get that job done. So I want to ask you though, Bill, kind of on that same topic. We've gone through a lot as a team this year. There have been ups, there have been downs. The team moved on from their coaching staff 2-3 weeks ago at this point now.
Correct.
Can you give the fans and us any information that you can? Don't push it, but any information.
I'm not going to divulge a whole lot, but I can tell you it's just there was the philosophy of the coaching staff and the philosophy of the players on the bench weren't gelling, and players will play for their coach or they won't play for their coach, right? And at this level, it's not as much about teaching guys as it is about organizing guys and keeping the relationships in check and having an agreed upon game plan with everybody. And sometimes things work out, sometimes they don't work out. I have no ill will for the guys that were coaching us. They're all good guys. It just unfortunately was a situation that we felt needed to be corrected, and we did so.
I agree. The move obviously wasn't easy, but you guys did make the move. Do you have any information possibly on a new coaching staff that could be coming in at any point soon or in the near future?
Yeah, so fans probably noticed we had a different coaching staff, including Trey here for the last 3 games. Trey did an admirable job up in Orangeville, looking the part anyway.
Exactly. That's all I was there for.
But no, we have hired a couple of guys on an interim basis that will start this Saturday. David Ayers and Braden Walker. So David's going to come in as the interim head coach. He's got some work situations and commitments going on right now that we couldn't name him a permanent coach, but at least he's going to come in and help steady the waters until the new year. And provided his working situation goes as he thinks it's going to, then hopefully we can turn it into a permanent situation for him.
I agree. That'd be awesome.
And then Braden is just a young guy, friends of several players on the team that wants to come in, learn the ropes, and help out. So he's going to jump on the bench as an assistant. He played some junior hockey himself as well, and help with the thing typical assistant coach help with, communicating with the guys and help them run practices and, assisting on the bench where needed, that sort of thing.
That's awesome. We're really excited to see that. So as both guys that are Leafs fans, I just got to ask, it's got to sting a little bit bringing in a guy who has won and only win in the big leagues against your Toronto Maple Leafs. That's got to hurt.
Yeah, I'll tell you a little story about David. So David is actually a Thunder alumni. I don't know if you guys know that or not. So David actually played 2 games for us in 2016, I believe it was. in the exhibition season against Tavistock in our Oxford Cup. So because he was living in Toronto at the time, in our former league, they had an import rule where you had a serious cap on imports. You can only bring guys within, I think it was 70 kilometers of your home arena to play for your team, or they count as an import. So I think we had 5 really good imports at that time. And David played in the Oxford Cup and played well. And he's certainly well enough to play in this league. He probably still could at his age now at 46. But we just couldn't sign him because of the import handcuffs we had on us at the time. So we didn't sign him, and he went back into Toronto. He was running the old Maple Leaf Gardens for Ryerson University there.
Yeah.
So he played a couple games for us. We stayed in touch once in a while. We'd send a message to each other and that sort of thing. And then a couple of years ago, when we were doing our first cancer fundraiser, he donated us. We had a jersey of his that was donated, so I sent it over to him to get it signed. We've been chatting ever since, and so I reached out to him a couple of weeks ago and I said, "Hey, David, I know you're in the Bowmanville, Whitby area, but I'm looking for a good hockey guy down around the London area. I'm looking for a coach." And then David said, "Well, ironically, I'm in London and bouncing between London and Welland right now, training for CP Rail. So he said, I can help you out." So one conversation turned into another, and next thing you know, we got a former Canes goalie, I guess we say, that beat my Leafs.
Yep.
Coming in as a head coach, but that's obviously not the reason we brought David in. David's a good guy. I think he'll mesh well with the players, and hopefully it goes the way we expect it to.
For sure, he's a hockey guy. That's the thing.
Exactly. He's a rink rat too. He's always at the arena. Like every time I've talked to him in the last couple of weeks, he's headed to play pickup somewhere, or he's playing in an alumni game, or he's playing in a charity game, so he's always got lots going on.
Yeah, that's what you need. You need that kind of personality that is very hockey aware, and also that David's played and coached at very high levels. That one game with the Hurricanes is obviously what's people are going to know him by, but he's much more than that as a hockey player and a hockey guy.
He coached minor pro hockey as well in the U.S. So I'm sure he'll come in with the guys collectively. They'll put together a good plan.
Yeah, we're really looking forward to see it.
We're a team. We try to do everything as a team, including planning how we're going to operate as a team on the ice, right?
So that's how you're going to be successful, right? You have to stay as a team, and obviously the team is going to drift at certain points, and from the first game of the season to the last, it's going to be sometimes.
When you get into the dog days of January and February, that's when these picking up these points are really important.
Yeah, we're definitely, and kind of based on his next question, that's kind of where we're going with that. So why don't you go ahead, Leaf?
Bill, we've noticed the skill gap in the OSHL has seemed to shrunk this year. What are your thoughts on the direction of the OSHL at the midway point of this season?
As an executive director of the league, I'm ecstatic. I think I would like to go to every game not knowing who wins. And sometimes you can't do that, right? Like there are games, and you know what? There's not a team in this league this year that I don't think couldn't beat another. In the first few seasons, we could probably say, well, this is 2 points, that's 2 points. But you can't say that now. Even look in Orangeville there on Saturday night. They started out 2-0. Next they pop a couple more. Next thing you know, that's a whole different game, right? So there's good players and good skill on every level. The challenge is every team getting deeper, right? The 1 and 2 line teams struggle against the teams that can throw 4 strong lines at you. And can mix it up a bit and change up the look if they have to. Move a guy here, move a guy there. But some teams have to rely on the same 6 guys in their top 6. But I believe in a couple of years from now, you're not going to know who the favorite is year in and year out. Because I think the teams are just look at Dunnville's a great example. The last month or so, look what's happened in Dunnville. Their game has turned around dramatically, right? So.
Yeah. We were actually specifically going to point out Dunnville, Woodstock, and Alvinston as all examples. Of Delhi.
Woodstock and Alvinston are a great example as well. They've improved their teams dramatically.
Yep, and Delhi just signed Ben Blacker, a goaltender who had played with Western Michigan.
I'm thinking we'll probably see him tomorrow night. But,
so that'll be a good.
Ironically, former teammate of Rebreeze down at Western Michigan.
Yeah, so that's going to be cool to see. Hopefully, Rebs can pot a couple against him and get the bragging rights.
At least tell the guys his weaknesses anyway. So.
Yeah, exactly. He's got the scouting report, so watch out.
That's right.
But yeah, it's been awesome to see the growth of the league. Like I remember being here a month ago, sitting here chatting before we start filming, just looking at signings, and we saw Alvinston sign Mateo Lalama, a goalie who was a starter for the Barrie Colts for a couple of years. We've seen professional guys, like look at Delhi bringing in guys like Josh LaBelle, and these other guys that the one guy Martin is his last name, and these are high level hockey players that
Absolutely, good players.
These teams that last year, they were running, maybe one good line and then 3 lines of kind of, just trying to patch it together. And this year now, we're not seeing that, and that's a really good sign for the OSHL. I do believe. There's
no guaranteed 2-point or point night anymore in this league, which is exactly what the league as executives and the teams have been striving for. Right, is we all want to go to the rink with the fans and the players, having to give it everything they can to come out of there with 2 points or not knowing who's going to win for the fans. So.
It's an exciting thing to see, and I just wanted to ask. So in January, the OSHL implements a type of roster shrink bill. I wanted to ask, does it add stress to general managers like yourself, knowing that you have to trim that roster down a few spots when you have a really deep team here until?
Yeah, it bothers me because I become attached to all the guys too, right? So it's tough to go to a guy and say, hey, I appreciate your commitment, but unfortunately, due to roster rules, we don't have a spot for you. As of January 16th, it is actually. So what I typically try to do is see if there's a need on another team for a player that I may or may not be able to use after January 16th. We don't have a lot of them decisions to make this year at this point. I think we've got 2 or 3 roster decisions to make. We've had one make its own already this year, and then there's a few more that we'll have to make. But we can carry 27 with the 27th being a third goalie. So if we decide to carry more than 3 goalies, then we have to use up a regular roster spot. But I think for the most part, we've kind of got a plan in place. I hate doing it. I do not like to let anybody go. I'm of the opinion, but of course I'm only one vote when it comes to these things. I'm of the opinion, who cares if you have a 40-man roster? You can only dress 20, right? So
I do agree with you on that one.
But it's also understandable too, because you can improve other teams, and but part of the thing in playoffs is attrition, right? Like last year, if we had a 40-man roster, we wouldn't only had 2 or 3 healthy defensemen come the end of it all, right? So.
Okay.
So there's that too. Attrition and keeping your team healthy is part of winning, right? So a 40-man ballooned roster, I can see the negative to that too. So.
For sure, and like you said, it has its benefits and its negatives. It like you said, if a team like Woodstock, or not necessarily Woodstock, but a team needs a guy in a third line role, and you don't have a roster spot for that guy. Absolutely. Being able to let him go there, it's going to help expand the league and increase that skill.
I don't know if my philosophy is different than some of the other GMs in the league, but and maybe it's because I'm involved at the league executive level too. I don't like to see any player leave the league.
No.
If he's capable of playing in this league, it'd be great to see him stay in the league. Do we want him playing against another team and coming back to haunt us later? No, but that's hockey, right? So
that's the nature of the business. So, Leaf, why don't you go ahead and shoot your question?
Any update on the progress of the OSHL? We have a champion. Will we have a championship?
We've ran into a bit of a roadblock. I'm not going to lie. We're working on that, but the issue is ice time availability. And obviously these two leagues are very far apart geographically. So I can't say there's much to update you on right now. Our plan is to try to do something at the end of the year, but we may have left ourselves not enough time to pull off the ice time that we need. We'll know more hopefully in early January. Our goal is to try to do something, but we can only do what the facilities let us do. Right? We want to do something at the end of April, but the East is supposed to be hosting it, and there's some challenges there. That's all I can say right now, anyway.
Yeah, for sure. It's a tough thing because, like you said, ice time, some of these arenas are booked up 8, 10, 12 months in advance, right? So
yeah, and they start removing their ice around that time of year too, right? So
it's true.
And any of you that have had to deal with municipal government and municipal facility management, the minute they can stop paying for that ice plant to run and the ice to be in there, they're happy, right?
Yeah.
Unless it's full with users, which at that time of year it's not, right?
Yeah, so exactly. You're going.
We need to hold this. If we do it, we need to hold it in the right facilities so we can get the right number of fans in the building, the right amenities and the right, the right corporate partners and that sort of thing. And if it's not going to work right this year, then we plan it and have it all planned in advance for next year, right?
But exactly. This was
our goal is to still try to hopefully do something. So
for sure, hopefully we can at least get something going, whether it just be one team play the other one game or whatever happens. It's just really cool to see the progress you guys have made since you and Jamie decided to make this thing.
It's unfortunate that it stalled a little bit, but that's part of progress, right?
Exactly.
We're working on a mutual website and that sort of thing, but we don't want to launch all that until we have everything all figured out, right? So
for sure, it's a process. It's not like
you're dealing with 27 hockey teams, 27 different minds, plus we've got our managers and our operations group here, and they've got their managers and their operations group there. So there's a bunch of good hockey people trying to figure this out, but it's not easy because not everybody has the same ideas and the same plans.
Yeah, for sure. You just have to eventually try to get everybody sat down and come to an agreement on what's going to work, right? Because we had even said, I know the original pitch was to have, you guys did a coin flip, the East won, and so they're going to host it, but without knowing who the champion is, and I know there's a few teams up there like Deseronto, I know they're really good this year.
Yeah.
So, you'd guess, well, maybe they'll be the champion.
Yeah, Rosetown, I think, another one or whatever they're called. Yeah.
Yeah, they're good as well. You just don't know, though, right? What if they get swept in the first round? Well, now all of a sudden, having that projection of where it's going to host, you almost need a neutral site kind of thing.
And
right?
I think that's probably where it's going to go moving forward. But for this year, the idea was to have one of the finalists or the champions host it. Moving forward, we may just have to pick a neutral site, like do it in, I don't know, something closer like Kingston or Belleville, but it's harder to draw the fan bases there when you don't have the home fan base in, right? So
yeah, that's what I was going to say. Is I know
the
that
other thing you could do is guarantee a spot to the host.
Yeah.
But the issue is what if the host is a 2-22 team, right? So
exactly, that's the hard thing, right? And we know it, and it's not like in the Memorial Cup. In the Memorial Cup, the host team every year goes and sells the farm to bring in a stacked roster, but we can't do that in our leagues.
We don't have those kind of budgets.
No, exactly, and you can't trade a superstar player. I mean, like I said, we got Jamie McQueen on our team. Hey, Alvinston's calling us about McQueen. Well, Jamie works in the area, so what are you going to get him a job? Like all those things, it complicates it, right? So
yeah, exactly. Yeah,
and we don't have a draft. So.
These are all working men. They're not dedicated hockey players that are just told where to be, right? So
exactly, and they do a great job at that. But yeah, it's hopefully we get everything figured out. Fingers crossed, iron out all the details, and I anticipate some kind of movement in the new year, whether it's an announcement for this year or an announcement for next year. We're hoping there'll be some kind of movement in the new year. It's we got all these guys running hockey teams and running hockey leagues all at the same time, and now we're trying to create a whole new event and environment. It's a lot of work. Definitely, it's not something that it's for the faint of heart. That's for sure. It takes a lot. So, and we salute you guys for doing it, right?
Plus, we all have paying jobs that we do. These ones don't pay, but our other jobs do, right?
Exactly. That's how we feel. This guy's got to go to work in a couple hours, and
there you go.
Luckily, I got the day off, so I get to do all the fun stuff today. But no, it's we salute you guys for putting in the effort to be able to get this stuff done, right? Because as fans, it's nothing more we want to see than something like a Memorial Cup. Like we all have vacation time. We'd book the weekend off. Get up there, and I know there's a lot of other people in places like Tillsonburg, Stratford, even places like Strathroy, Tilbury. There's fans that would be willing to make that drive, and then knowing that you could potentially host it the next year, that would get people even more fired up. So we'll just keep working forward, and hopefully we'll get there within the next couple of years.
We're working at it. Can't make any guarantees or promises yet, but we're chipping away at it.
And it's really good to hear. So I wanted to kind of on that same theme of the OSHL, Washel, EOSHL kind of theme. In closing, we'll let you go and get back to your day, Bill. But I wanted to ask you in closing, as our league moves forward into the future, what's a message you would give a, say, former WOA club or an Allen Cup club as kind of a sales pitch to joining our expanding elite hockey league?
Well, it's pretty tough to go and bring in those existing clubs because they all have their mindset set on the Allen Cup Hockey League. Their goal at the end of every year is obviously the Allen Cup, right? Well, we don't have the Allen Cup or that national 120-year-old championship trophy, right? So I don't know that we would pitch much to those type of teams because they don't really fit in our market. Our market is not the city market.
No,
our market is the 50,000 and under kind of thing. But to teams like the OEHL, I guess it is now, the former WOA teams, is growth and consistency is a big part of what we're doing, and independence to us is a big reason why we're not a sanctioned hockey league at this point. We like to control our own destiny. I can't speak for the OEHL. I don't know much about their new constitution or their new policies. I can tell you lots about the old league, but from what I see, they're doing things very similar to what we do over there, and they're doing things well. So the only reason I would see a team maybe moving over from there to here is, closer geographic time or travel time. because our goal is to always have the teams within we're a little spread out this year, but next year with a few new ads, hopefully we can have a 2-division league with a lot less travel, and everybody benefits that way. And I think the level of play in most of these leagues is on par. Mm-hmm. It's just really a matter of what you want as a team. Do you want to travel less, or do you want to play more? Because some guys like the road trips, right? Mm-hmm. So
it's true.
I know in our league, our guys would rather travel less than an hour every game, but that's not obviously a reality at this point. But I really don't think as a league we're looking to go take teams from other leagues. We want to develop new markets.
Mm-hmm. That is a very good point. Yeah.
Like we'd love to get into the Niagara region. We'd love to get more down in the Windsor, Chatham area. Mm-hmm. We'd love to get some, some stuff going on the Milton area, the Central Ontario area at some point, right? But baby steps.
For sure, it's one thing at a time, right? That's the thing about this league is that we've noticed from. How many teams did you guys have the first year? Was it 5 or 6?
5.
It was 5 teams, right? And you guys have expanded already. Here we are sitting at 11, and could have been 12 this year if things had worked out a little differently.
If we said yes to every person that inquired, we could be at 20 right now, but we'd be having problems.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah,
right? You got to bring in the right team, the right markets,
at the right time too,
and the right ownership too. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. And that's the thing. You're a non-sanctioned league, so you guys have the right to be able to do things at your pace, and you and Jamie and other executives in this league, you guys can make those decisions and have no pressure, right? And guys do.
We want to beat each other on the ice. We're a group of 11 partners, right?
Mm-hmm. So exactly.
Off the ice, it's a democratic partnership. Jamie and I are executive directors, but we have no voting rights when it comes to, the league operational rules and. Expansion all gets cleared by the other teams. We're a democracy, and that's I think what sets us aside from some other leagues and divisions.
Mm-hmm. It's good to see, and like you said, I like the idea of look at what we've seen the last 3 years. You got Dunnville, you got Delhi, you got down, you got Tilbury. These are expansion teams that have come in and have been able to hold their own. They look at Delhi's improvement. Dunnville has looked good this year. You got teams like Woodstock, who was Plattsville last year. You guys have expanded into new markets. And like you said, it would be fun to see a team like Tavistock and be able to beat the crap out of them. But you know what?
We always had a great rivalry with Tavistock, but it is what it is. We have 3 teams in Oxford County, right? Mm-hmm. So
exactly.
Not many counties can say that at this level. So
no, and we're happy to, because it saves us the travel, and we also have that geographical rivalry, right? We didn't have.
And Delhi and Norfolk just down the road.
Yeah, exactly. It's 20 minutes down Highway 3, unless you're Holly. He says it's 15. So, but it's a great trip. We'll be making the trip tomorrow. Potentially not him. He might have a Christmas dinner, but that's the nature of the season. But
I'm in Niagara. I'm coming from Niagara tomorrow, so I should be there, but I don't know when.
See, look, Leaf, your GM is saying he's going to be there coming from Niagara, so I think you got to roll the step up. But anyway, Bill, we thank you so much for joining us. We don't want to take too much of your day. As always, it's great chatting. You're a great hockey guy. You have a great hockey mind. And
thank you.
As fans and podcast and play-by-play and former coach, whatever you want to call it, we just appreciate everything you've done for the Thunder and giving us this midseason update. It's awesome. Now you get the fans kind of in tune with what's going on. And, some fans, if you're at the games and you see Bill, obviously go have a chat with him if you have any questions about the team. But we're hoping that things like this podcast is, again, part of that league expansion that we're talking about. We want to have people be more engaged, get more involved in social media, and have crazy weirdos that sit in their basement with a gray background, and which we're working on, by the way, guys. We've had a chat. But no, this is all part of where the league's going, and we're really happy to be part of it. And thank you again for being part of it and taking the time out of your day to come and share a half hour with us too.
Thank you. I just want to take a minute to thank you guys as well, but I also want to wish everybody the best of the holiday season that's watching and coming to the games and are part of the Wazzle and the Thunder groups. This is an important time of year for a lot of people, and it's important everybody gets together and enjoys themselves and enjoys the best of the season and family. So let's not lose sight of the fact that we do all this because we enjoy it, but there's another important part of our lives too, and family and spending time with family. So thanks, guys.
Thanks a lot, Bill. Ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be our closing portion of the show from Woodstock, Ontario. And for Mr. Leaf Dietrich and our special guest, Mr. Bill Ryan, I'm Trey Hamilton. We are signing off. You have a great night, Tillsonburg. We will see you tomorrow in Delhi. Are you ready, Leaf? Let's go, Thunder.